There's a little John Maxwell for you this morning, a little wisdom from John Maxwell. We all need a little wisdom, right? John Maxwell is great in the leadership side. I hope you picked up a couple things from that, understanding that failure is a part of the process. Failure is a part of the process. Again, the reason you're on these calls, most of you in business with us, right? Like right? You gotta fail forward. That's one of John Maxwell's books, actually. Failing Forward. Recommend that book if you have an issue with failure, right? Failing forward. It's huge. You got to understand that, like he said, failure and success go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. The question is, what do you learn from your failures? What do you learn from your mess ups? What do you learn from your mistakes? How does it allow you to get better? If you're not trying and you're not making mistakes, you're not going to succeed. If you're not putting yourself in a position to fail, to trip up, to not be good at something, to learn, you're not putting yourself in an environment to grow. And that's what he's talking about, right? He talked about the importance of being in an environment of growth. It's what we do in business, right? The reason why you guys are here is because we give you an environment to grow. We give you mindset calls, we give you encouragement, we give you all those things so that you can grow. We're building people, right? It's important when you step in. I wrote something down. He said something about, like, encouragement is um oxygen to the soul or something like that. I say it another way because I have it written in my affirmations that EPR is CPR for the soul. EPR means encourage, praise, and recognize, right? Encouragement, praising, and recognition, right? EPR is CPR for the soul. So how much are you in an environment where you're getting encouraged, where you're getting praised, and you're getting recognized? You need that. It literally helps your soul, right? To feel those things. So the more that you're in the environments where you can experience that, the more growth you can have, right? Again, environments are good, are important for this growth. But at the end of the day, the point John Maxwell was making is that we got to be committed to personal growth. Not anything new you guys haven't heard or you haven't heard me say, right? We got to be committed to personal growth. Your money only grows to the degree that you do, right? John Maxwell said you're building your growth capacity, right? All the things that you go through, the ups and downs of life, you're growing your growth capacity. How much can you handle growth? But you got to know, you got to be committed to growth. You got to be committed to personal development. Like, you have to, this becomes part of a lifestyle for you. And just like John Maxwell said, right, at a certain point in time, things change and you start to say, well, man, how far can I go? Instead of like, when I get there, I'm an expert. It's how far can I go? How much capacity do I have? How much can I actually grow? How big can I get? He said something like a better life, a bigger life is or a bigger you is a better you, right? A more influential you, right? So how do we get better? How do we grow? How do we do these things? It's being committed to personal growth and personal development. Here's what it says in 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class. It says the world class is committed to personal development. It says here, average performers wouldn't read a personal development book or listen to a personal development recording if you paid them. Only about 5% of the population study personal development. Think about that. Only 5% of the population about study personal development. Our exact estimate of the percentage of professional performers in this country. Interesting, isn't it? The masses seem to view personal development as motivational nonsense. Of course, most of these people are struggling to make ends meet. In contrast, many world-class people and those who aspire to world-class levels are believers in the personal development movement. You don't have to convince a champion to want to win. Personal development, by definition, is about discovering the unique talents, abilities, and potentials that lie dormant within us. Let me say that one again. Personal development, by definition, is about discovering unique talents, abilities, and potentials that lie dormant within us. The great ones are always looking for that one little adjustment, strategy, distinction, or technique that will give them an edge over the competition. And that's exactly what personal development offers. As Bill Gove was famous for saying, all of us already have everything we need inside of us to make our lives work. Personal development is not about self-improvement, it's about self-discovery. It's about rediscovering what we already know. So this is why being committed to your growth, to your personal development, helps you become a bigger, better, more influential person. Why? Because, like the definition says, you are discovering unique talents, abilities, and potentials within yourself. Everything that you need to succeed, God's already placed in you. You already have the seed of everything that you need inside of you. But if we don't personally develop, if we don't personally grow, if we don't grow mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if we're not growing, we're dying. If we're not growing, we're dying. So if you're not growing, then you're not discovering your unique talents. You think your talents are done. You think I know what I'm good at and that's it. Because you're not growing. You think your abilities are limited. You think the abilities you have right now are the abilities you're going to have. Why? Because we're not growing. So when we start to personally develop, when we start to take a hold of some of the things that I'm going to give you, right? Like a couple things on the personal development side. When we start to take a hold of those things, we grow our capacity, which happens to then allow us to be more aware of our talents and our skills and our abilities and what we're really put here to do. Right? A child doesn't know those things. They have to grow in order to recognize their talents and abilities. A parent might be able to recognize that for their child, like, oh, I notice you're really good at this, or I notice you're, but a child doesn't know because, right, they're not developed. So they can't decipher their unique talents and the gifts and abilities. Well, same thing as an adult. If you haven't grown, you might not know what you're good at. You might not know what your abilities are. You might not know what your talents are. So that's why we have to grow. And that's why we have to personally develop. So you've heard me say this before, but just some practical things. Who are you around? That's the environment part of it that John Maxwell's talking about. This is how we pay attention to personal growth and personal development, right? Like, who are you around? Like, what's the environment like around you? You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's a cliche saying, but it's true. You're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So, who are people that you're spending the most time with? Who's the last 5? Who's the 5 people that you talk to the most? Could be family, right? But that's fine. You're just going to be the average of them. Right? If you are, I'm giving this example, right? If you're a vegan, or if you want to become vegan, and you hang around 5 meat eaters, likely they're either not going to be your friends for long, or you're not going to be vegan. It's the way it goes, right? Like it's too hard to resist. It's your environment. These are the people you spend the most time with. You're not going to continue to buck that system. It's going to either they're going to have to go out of your life, or you're not going to be a vegan, because your environment matters. If you're in a negative environment, if the people that are around you don't speak life, don't speak encouragement, don't speak hope, don't speak opportunity, if they speak the opposite of that, if they speak worry and doubt and fears and problems, you're going to think that way. You're the average of those 5 people. I had a real great quote. I heard a great quote one time, said that, right? The messenger leaves, but the message stays. So be careful who has your ear, right? The messenger leaves, right? You let somebody, right, verbally throw up on you, right? Like they're having the worst time and they're just negative and they only call you to vent, and like you think you're giving them a lending ear because like you're a friend, but all they do is like dump their crap on you. The messenger leaves, like they're gonna hang up the phone, but that message, that negativity, the things that they are feed, like it stays with you. So if you want to focus on your personal development, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, like what's in your environment? Who are you around? Who are you around? What's your environment like? Got to pay attention to that if you want to grow. Secondly, right? What are you watching? Let's just take it to, what are you consuming? What are you consuming? Consumption is in all areas. Consumption of the eyes, consumption of the ears, consumption of what we put in our mouth and our body, right? Like, what are you consuming on a daily basis? What do you consume with your eyes? Do you consume a lot of television? Do you consume a lot of right, reality TV? Do you consume a lot of whatever, right? Like, I don't know, what movies, like what do you consume? Sports? Or do you consume a lot of personal development? Do you consume a lot of spiritual development, or books, or seminars, or sermons, or anything, right? Like, what are you consuming? If you aren't aware of what you're consuming, you're allowing anything in, and that's the opposite of how we grow. So you have to be very intentional about, what are you consuming? What are you watching? What's on your phone? What's on your social media, right? Where do you wind down? What are you watching? What are you putting into your brain? If you're not aware of it, it's easy to get caught off guard. If you're aware of it, you can be intentional about what you're putting in. Take away an hour of Netflix, add an hour of reading. That's all. Just add, like, continuing to focus on your consumption. What do you listen to, right? What are you listening to? Are these things that feed into fears, anxieties, doubts, worries? Or these things that you're feeding yourself that give you hope and optimism and light for the future? Just got to be aware of it. That's all. This is what personal development is about, right? Again, what are you reading? Do you read a book? Are you reading books? Are you sitting down to say, hey, let me take some time just with my brain, right? To be able to sit and read and consume something that's good for me. These are things to pay attention to if you want to really be committed to personal development, to finding out what's inside of you that you're going to now give to the world, right? Like, that's the personal growth side, personal development side of things, right? And so these are just a couple things to pay attention to, ladies and gentlemen, a couple things to pay attention to while you're in your journey. But these are the things that are the most important. What's your environment like? Who are you around? What type of people are you around? What type of influences do you have in your life? What are you consuming? What do you like pick up on a daily basis? Because again, the thesis, I said it at the very beginning of the call, you change your thinking, you change your life. So think about all those things. Your environment could change the way you think. Just literally being in a different environment, it'll change the way you think about something. You might see something, be exposed to something that changes how you think. The people that you're around could change the way you think. If 5 of your friends think a certain way about success, you will start thinking that way about success if you're closer to them. They will change your thinking, which will change your life. What you're consuming with your eye gates, ear gates, even what you put in your mouth will actually change how you think about life, about whatever it is that you're reading or listening to. So again, if you change your thinking, you change your life. And that's why we got to be committed to personal development. That's why we got to be committed to reading books, listening to good audios, consuming good things, getting around good people, slowly removing the people that are not helping us get to our goals and dreams, even though we may love them, even though we may have been attached to them for a very long time. If they are not allowing us to get to the place that we need to go for our families, we have to slowly take time away from those people. A lot of you are in business, so you understand, right? You'll start to understand what I'm saying the more that you're in business. There's some people that you're friends with, or that, you're in your family, and they may be used to calling you and talking to you about certain things, that now that you're on this journey of entrepreneurship, you can't take that in as much, right? You can't take that in as much. You might have that aunt or that cousin or that friend that calls, and like you might be on the phone with them for 45 minutes and it's not helping you. So now that you're committed to personal development, you got to cut that to a 10-minute call. Instead of a 45-minute call, you got to cut that to a 10-minute call. You got to slowly cut that down over time, so that is not affecting and infecting how you think about things, because you're committed to personal growth and personal development. So these are the sacrifices you got to make sometimes to get to the life that we want. That's what we're here for. This quote says, I've spent the last 40 years trying to convince corporate America that the fastest way to improve the bottom line was in the personal development of their employees. Fastest way to make more money, fastest way to get to the life that you want is to improve yourself. Make the investment in yourself, in your life, in you, right? Make the investment in you, and good things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen. Action step for today says, make a commitment to attend 2 seminars or workshops in the next 12 months for your own personal growth and development. Right? Make a commitment to attend 2 seminars or workshops in the next 12 months for your own personal growth and development. Set a goal to listen to one of your favorite nonfiction authors or speakers every day when you're in your car. Set another goal to read 1 positive or inspirational book a month for the next 12 months. Map out a personal development plan of action. You'll be amazed at the results. Do you have a plan to personally grow? Do you have a plan for personal development? Investing in yourself before you go investing in other things is smart. It's smart, right? It's how you grow. So personal development's key. It's a key. It's a key to you getting to where you want to go. We all know we want to get to the life we don't need a break from. We want to experience different things in life. In order to do that, you got to become a different person. Flat out. It's the way it goes. I love you guys though. I want you to win. Right? That's why I tell you these things. So I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. You got to go out and become a different person. The man or woman you are today is not the man or woman that is going to impact the world the way that you want to. Man or woman that you are today is not the man or woman that actually is going to go off and be super influential in the world and be a multimillionaire, whatever your goals are. You're not that person yet. Best part is you can become that person because growth is unlimited. You can grow as much as you want. It's not about when you get there. It's about how far can I go? Like John Maxwell said, how far can I go? And we can all go far. So enjoy your Wednesday. Go out there, do something that challenges you, do something that scares you. We'll come back on Friday, make it happen again. Take care, y'all. Have a great day.